Welcome back to Cross-Strait Chronicles. We turn complex cross-strait history into stories you can actually enjoy. Grab a seat, relax, and let's travel back in time, across the strait. Today's episode asks a deceptively simple question. Can an empire modernize itself without changing who's in charge? Because in the mid-19th century, Qing China tried exactly that, and the results were complicated. Segment 1. A dynasty that finally got the message. By the 1860s, the Qing court had learned three painful lessons. Western ships were faster. Western guns were stronger. Pretending none of this mattered did not make it go away. For the first time, some officials admitted something radical. Maybe we should learn from them. This idea became known as the self-strengthening movement. The logic was simple, almost comforting. Westerners are good at machines. We're good at morals. Let's borrow their tools, not their ideas. What could possibly go wrong? Segment 2. The core idea. Chinese essence, Western tools. The slogan of the movement was, Chinese learning as essence, Western learning for practical use. In other words, Confucian values stay. Emperor stays. Social hierarchy stays. Political system stays. But build Western-style ships, buy modern guns, open factories, train engineers, modernize selectively. It was modernization with rules. Segment 3. The reformers, pragmatists, not revolutionaries. This movement wasn't led by rebels. It was led by loyal Qing officials like Zheng Guofan, Li Hongjiang, Zhou Zongtang, men who had crushed rebellions and now wanted to prevent the next one. They weren't dreaming of democracy. They were thinking, if we don't modernize, the empire dies. Segment 4. What they actually built. And to be fair, they did build things. Shipyards, steam-powered naval fleets, modern dockyards in places like Fuzhou Factory's arms, manufacturing textile mills, telegraph lines, schools, foreign language academies, technical training students sent overseas. On paper, Qing China was entering the modern age, but something was off. Segment 5. The problem nobody wanted to touch. Here's the issue. You can import machines. You can't import institutions without changing power. The Qing tried to modernize without political reform, without accountability, without legal equality, without a modern tax system. Factories were run like government offices. Officials skimmed profits. Appointments were based on loyalty, not skill. Modern tools, pre-modern management. Segment 6. Corruption meets modern technology. Imagine giving a steam engine to a bureaucracy trained for handwritten memorials. Money disappeared. Projects stalled. Maintenance was ignored. Some arsenals literally produced unusable weapons. Modernization didn't fail because of lack of intelligence. It failed because of incentives. Segment 7. The military illusion. The Qing Navy looked impressive until it met a fully modern force. In 1894, during the First Sino-Japanese War, Japan, once China's student, destroyed the Beiyang fleet. Same ships, same technology, different systems. Japan had centralized command, professional officers, political reform. China had regional rivalries, corruption, no unified control. The result was devastating. Segment 8. Why reform? hit a wall. Every real reform threatened someone's power. Bureaucrats feared losing positions, elites feared losing privileges, the court feared losing control. So reforms stayed shallow, enough to look modern, not enough to be modern. Segment 9. A brutal irony. The self-strengthening movement delayed collapse, but it also postponed deeper reform. By the time the Qing realized this isn't enough, it was already too late. Segment 10. The legacy. The movement left behind factories, arsenals, educated elites, but also frustration, disappointment, a generation asking harder questions. If reform from within doesn't work, what about revolution? Episode 5 showed us rebellion can tear an empire apart. Episode 6 shows us reform can fail without structural change. Together, they explain why the late Qing became unstable and why more radical ideas began to look appealing. So here's the question for you. If you were a Qing official in the 1860s, what would you choose? Gradual reform or radical change? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read them all. If this video helped make Cross-Strait history a little less confusing, consider giving it a like and subscribing. History is complicated, but learning it doesn't have to be. Next time, we'll meet the people who said, reform isn't enough. We're talking new ideologies, new movements, and the road toward revolution. I'll see you in the next episode.